Last week, I opined on this platform that the Hustler Nation slogan is a political tsunami which President Uhuru Kenyatta and his elder brother Raila Odinga must deal with as a matter of urgency if they must survive political speaking. Because the slogan is spreading like bushfire across the entire republic. And let's give credit where it is due. The deputy president is currently stronger than he was when he was still with President Uhuru Kenyatta. That's the reality. The only problem or the only thing that the deputy president is missing is the system. Because we all know in this country that you cannot become the president of the Republic of Kenya on the account of votes alone. If that was the case, Raila Odinga would have been the president of the Republic of Kenya in 2007. But the deputy president is now much more stronger. And indeed, the deputy president has worked with all these politicians and is understanding them. The deputy president worked with Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, which means he worked very closely with Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo Musyoka. The two gentlemen are also planning to run for the presidency in 2022. The deputy president also worked very closely with President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002, again in 2013, and in 2017, very closely. Which means the deputy president understands President Uhuru Kenyatta from both sides. The deputy president also worked very closely with Raila Odinga in 2007. So he understands Raila Odinga, both the weaknesses and the strength. In fact, it is alleged in some quarters that the deputy president made Raila Odinga the prime minister of the Republic of Kenya. And also that those who believe that the deputy president is the one who made President Uhuru Kenyatta the president of the Republic of Kenya in 2013. So it is now his turn to make himself the president of the Republic of Kenya. And the deputy president is understanding that the politics in this country is not a walk in the park, and he's been changing his strategies. So today I want to demonstrate to you the latest strategies which the deputy president William Ruto is actually using to beat Raila Odinga in 2022. But before you do that, if you are watching this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Now let's get back to business, and I want to go straight to the latest strategies which the deputy president is currently employing on Raila Odinga, because the fact of the matter is that 2022 general election is turning out to be a two-horse race as at today. And of course, politics is dynamic. A lot of things can change to an extent that Raila Odinga might even not be a factor, to an extent that the deputy president might not even be a factor, or someone else might actually emerge. But as things stand today, it is a two-horse race between Raila Odinga and the deputy president William Ruto. Now, these are the latest strategies which the deputy president is using. Number one, the first strategy which the deputy president is actually using is to raid Raila Odinga and recruit his former aides. That's the strategy which he is currently using. And indeed, if you've been following the politics of the deputy president, you should have realized that immediately they were sworn into office for the second term, the deputy president started raiding Raila Odinga's camp, especially in parliament. But that did not achieve much after the handshake. But after the handshake, and of late, the deputy president is focusing more on former allies of Raila Odinga. He has recruited Hassan Omar. Hassan Omar is a known reformer in this country. He's known as someone who stands for the rights of Kenyans. He was also the chairperson of the Kenya Human Rights Commission. Hassan Omar is a former senator from Mombasa, a very close ally of Raila Odinga. And in the last election, Hassan Omar fell out with Raila Odinga because he felt Raila Odinga did not provide him with a level playing field when he faced Hassan Joho. So Hassan Omar is one of the people the deputy president has recruited. The deputy president has also recruited Eliud Owalo. Eliud Owalo is not only a former ally of Raila Odinga. This is a guy who was the campaign manager for Raila Amolo Odinga. Eli Odewalo was then, after the campaigns, appointed the head of Raila Odinga Secretariat, which means Eli Odewalo also understands Raila Odinga's politics. He has contacts. He knows how Raila Odinga operates in this country, and that's why the deputy president has recruited him. I don't know how it's going to help the deputy president, but the fact of the matter is Eli Odewalo is one of the guys who was very close to Raila Amolo Odinga, and now in the circles of the deputy president William Ruto. In fact, I'm yet to understand why Owalo decided to support the deputy president. Because at some point in this country, Owalo was one of the biggest critics and enemies of the deputy president William Ruto. I was present with Eli Odewalo when he stopped that Langata Road Primary School, the land, from being grabbed by Weston Hotel. Owalo was there. And Owalo stated severally that he cannot work with the deputy president. But of course, in politics, you can't understand. But politically speaking, Owalo is a huge catch for the deputy president in his camp. Then the deputy president has also gone for Johnson Muthama. Johnson Muthama was a key ally of Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka was the running mate to Raila Amolo Odinga. And in NASA, Johnson Muthama was the co-chair of the NASA coalition with James Orengo, which means Muthama also understands how Raila Odinga operates. Because even in the last election, he declined the offer to contest as a senator, but instead focused on campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga presidential, to support Raila Amolo Odinga presidential bid in 2022. So Johnson Muthama is another guy who the deputy president has recruited in his camp, was a close ally of Raila Odinga, but they fell out. I don't know why. I've never understood. Then the last guy is Boni Halwale. And although Boni Halwale does not qualify as an ally of Raila Amolo Odinga, I've never seen Boni Halwale working very closely with Raila Odinga apart from 2017. That's the time I saw Boni Halwale. But Boni Halwale is one guy who can charge the crowd. He's courageous. Boni Halwale can speak. And that's why when he was hitting on the deputy president, he was really hitting on the deputy president. So by bringing on Boni Halwale, Johnson Muthama, Eli Odewalo, Hassan Omar, the deputy president is hoping to reap something which these guys were delivering to Raila Amolo Odinga. So that's the first strategy. Recruit allies, former allies of Raila Amolo Odinga in his camp. In fact, it's not only ending there. He's been targeting the civil society. It's only that some senior members of the civil society have refused to join the team. But he's been trying to do that. Again, you can talk of Aisha Jomwa, you can talk of Jicho Pevu, and several others, guys, people like Owen Bayer. That's number one. Number two, the second strategy, which is using, the deputy president is strategically trying to shift the Jubilee blame or failures to Raila Amolo Odinga. Basically, the deputy president is trying to shed off the Jubilee baggage. We all know that the Jubilee government promised Kenyans heaven, but they delivered them to hell. So currently, Kenyans are really suffering under the leadership of Jubilee government. That's for the last 7 years. They promised jobs. And today, the deputy president can go outside there and tell Kenyans that we have 6 million Kenyans who are jobless. This is the same man who promised Kenyans million jobs per year. When he was campaigning for Jubilee in the last election, he was convincing Kenyans how, using figures, how they offered jobs. But because Jubilee government has failed to deliver, you talk of healthcare system has collapsed. This is the only time we are witnessing nurses striking, doctors striking for months. We are witnessing government freezing employment. This is the only time in the history of this country where Kenyans are really suffering. Every Kenyan is feeling the pinch of this economy because of poor borrowing policies by the Jubilee government. But the deputy president has realized that there's a lot of baggage in Jubilee party. So he's trying to dissociate himself, which is doing successfully, and the blame is now on Raila Amolo Odinga, a man who cannot even claim a single cabinet secretary. A man who cannot even claim credit for appointment of a single cabinet secretary in the current government. Of course, the deputy president participated in recruitment of those government, of those cabinet secretaries. But the fact of the matter is the deputy president is actually strategically shifting the blame of Jubilee government from himself, which means the only guy is now carrying the baggage is Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Number 3 is, in his latest strategy, the deputy president is actually manipulating the poor. The other day, I did a video on numbers here, and I opined that numbers don't favor the deputy president. If you were to go to with the numbers don't favor him. Numbers favors Raila Odinga. That's tribal, because in this country, Kenyans vote tribally. So the deputy president is now trying to create a class war between the rich and the poor. I know it will work for him in the short term, but in the long term, it might actually be counterproductive. Let's face it, majority of Kenyans are poor. Majority of Kenyans are very poor. Can't even afford a meal in a day. Because they are poor, they can be easily manipulated. So the deputy president is currently manipulating the poor using his money. And the narrative of the hustler nation is actually spreading like a bushfire, just like I stated. The challenge is, it's going to work for him today. Tomorrow, the poor people will leave Kibra and go to Western Hotel to eat. That's the challenge. But the deputy president is successfully trying to create the poor versus the rich in this country, so that he's coming out as the poor people's candidate. Something which happened in Brazil successfully, and the guy who did that proved to be the worst president Brazil has ever produced in the history of that country. But the deputy president is strategically winning over the poor masses. He's setting them up. So he buys them mkokoteni and wheelbarrows instead of giving them jobs or creating conducive environment for jobs, so that the next day someone will come out and say, wheelbarrows na wenye wamesoma, no way. So Uhuru Kenyatta cannot tell him that, because Uhuru Kenyatta is the one who is the president of the Republic of Kenya, has failed to produce jobs. Raila Odinga cannot go and tell Kenyans that, you see guys, this wheelbarrow thing is not working for a graduate. He can't do that, because if he do that, the deputy will ask him, wewe leta tu hiyo gari yako wape. So that's the third strategy which the deputy president is using, manipulating the poor. Number 4, the fourth strategy is the church. Something happened last week also, and most people did not take note of. President Uhuru Kenyatta met with the church leaders. While the president was meeting with some church leaders, the deputy president was also meeting with the church leaders. When the president stepped out of the Harambee House, out of State House after the meeting, every church leader and the president had a mask. And the president shared those photos on State House official pages. On the other side, the deputy president met with certain church leaders, then shared a photo also. None of them wore a mask. So that tells you the war these guys are waging against each other using the church. And the last time I also did a video here, how President Uhuru Kenyatta strategically stopped the deputy president from grazing an Akorino church. The kind of church the deputy president is targeting is actually these local or poor churches. He's not targeting the big churches. The deputy president is not targeting Anglican church. The deputy president is not targeting the Catholic church. Yeye anatafuta church ya Akorino, the Nomea church, which Walu is going to deliver to him, is targeting the church like Jeshi la Msambweni, sijui Wanyonyi, Jehovah, those small churches. Those are the churches the deputy president is targeting, because those churches are actually targeted at the poor, for the poor people. So that's the fourth strategy, and it's going to work for him. The last strategy is perception of numbers. I did a video here, very comprehensive. If you missed that video, I think I should put the link down here on the numbers and why the deputy president is actually working so hard to prove a point that he has the numbers. Numbers don't favor the deputy president. And because the deputy president doesn't have the system, he must create an impression that he has the numbers. And that's why when he went to Kisii, the last time he was in Kisii, the rally was hugely attended. People were paid, like you can see on this video. These guys were actually lining up to receive their money before going to the rally. I've never seen something like that in my entire political journey. I've attended several political rallies. People are normally, sometimes people are paid to attend rallies, but I've not seen a situation where people are asked, we pangeni laini, unachukua yako, unaenda kwa rally. Ukimaliza, then you come again, unachukua the balance. It happened in Kisii. In Kajiado, the deputy president also did the same. Mobilized thousands and thousands of motorbike guys on that day. So he wants to create a perception of numbers. When he went to Bungoma, what happened? Ask anybody who is in Bungoma. Pesa ilitembea in Bungoma. So the deputy president must create a perception that he has the numbers. But if you want to understand that, just look at the number of members of parliament accompanying him. The numbers have greatly reduced. But because politics is about perception, the deputy president is creating the perception that he has those numbers. I don't know what you think, but in my view, those are the 5 strategies which the deputy president is currently using. And because politics is dynamics, he keeps on changing them. Raila Odinga also keeps on changing these strategies. So let us wait and see how events are going to unfold. Thank you guys, and if you are watching this video for the first time, just take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. How is the tie? Leo imeweza? Imeweza? Okay, bye bye.